Welcome to episode 33 of a Slice of Pie podcast. My name is Kat Loftus. Thank you for tuning in. Well, daylight savings time is upon us and we have longer days, which is great as the weather warms up and the flowers start blooming. So we can spend a lot more time outside in the evenings after everybody gets off work and see your neighbors and take a walk, which is great and very uplifting. This week on episode 33, we're going to talk with Beth Goodale. Beth has a job with Georgetown County and she works with Parks and Rec and other activities for Georgetown County, but her passion is horses. So this episode is about a nonprofit called Hugs for Horses. And what Hugs for Horses is, it's therapy that's been going on since 1988 out at the Equestrian Center down Highway 51 on Equestrian Road, 215 Equestrian Drive. And individuals, it can be children or adults with physical, mental, emotional, social, behavioral, any of those kind of disabilities, get to come down to the Hugs for Horses program and ride horses. And while they're riding, there's usually some volunteers that are with them that, are walking beside the horse with them and talking to them or playing some games with them while they're on the horse. And I got to witness some kindergartners on the horses for Hugs for Horses, and they just were having the best time. So you're going to really enjoy listening to Beth Goodale talk about Hugs for Horses and how it's impacted some of the lives of the people in our area. When I was still teaching school, I had a girl in my class, my third grade class, and she went to Hugs for Horses. Her grandmother would take her once a week, and it helped her so much overcome some emotional difficulties that she was going through, and it was very therapeutic for her. Children that are in any kind of special needs class in Georgetown County School District usually get an opportunity to go out there and ride the horses. But if you think that you as an adult or you have a child that might benefit from Hugs for Horses, go to their website. It's www.hugsforhorses.org, and you can find out how you can get involved with this program. Or if you'd like to volunteer with Hugs for Horses, because they need volunteers, also go to the website. And if you'd like to donate, because they need donations for their program, you can also go to hugsforhorses.org and find ways you can donate to this program. To film this episode, I went out to the Equestrian Center and got to see the children riding the horses and talked to Beth a long time. It was really great. And I learned something new, not only about the horses. There's a lot of different animals out there, horses, chickens, roosters. And I was looking at the horses in the stall, and I said to Beth, gosh, why are there no mosquitoes or flies or bugs flying around? She said, because there's guineas out here. Do y'all know what a guinea is? I think it's in the bird family. They have kind of a larger body, and they eat insects and flies and mosquitoes and larvae. And so there's no bugs in the stall area or anywhere around there. No gnats. It's really cool. So if you want to keep mosquitoes and gnats away, get a guinea for your yard. Look up what a guinea is. But it was really fascinating watching the Hugs for Horses program, and you'll enjoy this conversation that Beth and I had and learning more about how this therapy helps people of all ages overcome whatever disability they're dealing with. Tonight, I'm going to go to a concert in Georgetown at the Winyah Auditorium. It's going to be the Winyah Band. I love the Winyah Band, and also the Abnormals. So they'll be performing beginning at 7 p.m. at the Winyah Auditorium. The tickets are $20, and you can get one of those tickets by going on Eventbrite. Let's see. Also, I've been sitting here at my real estate office all day today, Saturday, and yesterday, and we'll be here tomorrow afternoon handing out these signs. It's for students that are going to Clemson that have been accepted to Clemson. So it's a yard sign. It says Tigertown bound, class of 28. So if you're one of those kids and you want to come get a yard sign, come on by P. Suffy's office in Pauley's Island. So let's get into episode 33. You're going to love it, and you're going to enjoy hearing more about Hugs for Horses. So here we go. Hi, Beth. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we're here with Beth Goodale. Am I saying your name right?
That's fine.
Goodale.
Yeah.
Okay. And Beth, what's your official title? What's your official position?
So at Hugs, and we're at Hugs for Horses right now at the Georgetown Equestrian Center. I'm just a volunteer, like everybody else that works for this wonderful organization. And I also am Director of Recreation and Community Services for Georgetown County.
Yeah, that's how I know you. But it's so cool that we get to come out here today and talk about Hugs for Horses and all the good things they do for the children in our county. So tell us a little bit about Hugs for Horses right now.
Yes, so we're very excited to have you with us. Hugs for Horses has been going on for close to 40 years now. It is a wonderful program that provides therapeutic equestrian programs for adults and children.
Adults and children.
Adults
Wow,
and
I didn't know
children.
that.
We have all ages and all abilities. We see lots of autistic kids, especially, but then we have Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. We have some that are just paralyzed for various reasons. We work very closely with the Department of Disability and Special Needs. A number of their classes come out here and are bussed out here every week. We have between 75 and 100 students every single week. The one that's in the ring now is a TMD class from the Georgetown County School District. This happens to be kindergartners. But we have all ages up to Georgetown High School and middle school that come throughout the year for programs.
That is so wonderful. You know, I've retired from teaching, Beth, but when I was teaching, I had a little girl in one of my third grade classes who came out here every day for mental health therapy.
Absolutely.
And it helped her so much, and she ended up going from a place of great need to a place where she was just very healthy, and her grandmother would bring her out. But so when students are identified or qualified to be able to come out here, how many days a week do they come out?
So it really depends. The students that are out here right now from the school district are bussed out here for a class once a week.
Okay.
Disability and special needs also are in group classes once a week. There's also students that go into group classes in the evenings whose parents or others bring them. Transportation is a huge issue.
Yep.
So the kids that you see in the ring right now, most would not be able to be here were they not on the school bus or on the vans from disability and special needs. So
yeah,
that's why these are so important.
So if they're just already qualified for the special needs class, then they can you can ask the parents if they want to go to Hugs for Horses.
So yes, so we work with the school district to offer as many classes as we can possibly fit in through the school day, and various classes. There's classes from Andrews. This one happens to be from Andrews, from Georgetown, from Maryville. They come out as a group and do once a week sessions, and we love having the school kids. And for me, this is my mental health break too. So,
but you love horses and you ride yourself, correct?
Yes, that's how I got involved with Hugs. Ronna Jacobs, who owns the Equestrian Center and is a trainer, started this program long before therapeutic equine programs were ever a thing. She started it for a family member, and she saw the difference that it made in him, and he went on to have a wonderfully productive life. So it's her love. She would do just this if we could. However, we charge nothing for the classes, so we have to fundraise for all of this, all of the horses, the insurance, all of the tax. We don't have paid staff that work for Hugs. And as you can see, depending on the condition and the ages and all of that, it's very labor intensive. So this class is a great example. We have volunteers from the Coast Guard who come. So we get groups of volunteers, and that's the most special way to get volunteers. We also have a number of individuals. The lady here to my left she has her horses here.
Yeah.
She hasn't even been here that long, and she embraced Hugs as soon as she got here, and we're all in the ring together.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So if a child is not in the special needs class at Georgetown County School District, how would a parent or grandparent be able to get signed up for this program?
So we have a Facebook page and we have a website, Hugs for Horses. Of course, you can Google that and find the information. You can come out, you can call, and they can do assessments and find out, if there's space for kids. We actually have a waiting list for children and adults because we don't charge. We don't have funding just to do this all the time, which we would, but we try to get in everybody who we can. We don't like for anybody to be discontinued either. Once we get them, we keep them, and we keep them for years and years and years in many cases. We've got children that started at 3 that are teenagers now, and young adults. So they can definitely check any of those avenues to get information here. We also started 2 summers ago a program called Horse-Powered Reading. And that is a national program. There's a website for that as well. But it's especially geared to students that have learning issues, confidence issues. You know, you get out here with a 1,000-pound horse and it sure builds your confidence quickly. But that program has been amazing. We'll start advertising for that one for parents to sign kids up. And they just have to either have an IEP or have some condition to where they're not at grade level, and we get them in. Very cool program. They learn to journal, they ride, they also do academic exercises.
So say the name of that program again.
It's called Horse-Powered Reading.
So that's for children not on grade level with their reading.
Yes, not on grade level, for whatever, many reasons.
Yeah. So, but the other children who come out for other qualifying reasons, they could be on grade level.
Oh, yes. Most are in special needs classes, so they're either special needs adults or special needs children.
I'm seeing some animals out here that are not horses. Who are these little doggies that are out here?
So, I mean, we have lots of animals out here. So we have Sheldon. He's kind of one of our little
Is he the
friends.
little one?
He's the little black one, and then George, the white dog, is a Great Pyrenees. And George actually
he's just laying out napping.
Well, he stays up all night. George lives outside at night. We have coyotes that come from the area, and they were eating our ducks and our birds, and we have goats and you know, the horses. So George actually stays out all night. At 7 months, we got him. A coyote has not been on the property in the 2.5 years.
Way to go, George!
Great asset. But
what's his pay? How do y'all pay George?
Lots of food and love. Okay. He loves love. His favorite thing is actually to see that school bus coming down the driveway. He meets them at the bus and he just dances his way in with all of the classes.
How old is George?
George is about 2.5.
Who's that little fella that's following behind that horse?
So that is Briley. She's one of our mousing crew. She belongs to Stephanie, a trainer that's here that also volunteers with Hugs. But yes, she and the little black dog, and there's another one around here, an Airedale around here somewhere. They take care of the mice. So we have none.
Yeah. Did we tell everybody that we're out at the equestrian center? I think we said, did we say where?
So.
Yeah, I think so. You want to tell everybody about the equestrian center and where it is and everything?
So yes, the Georgetown Equestrian Center is on Highway 51, just past the county landfill on the opposite side, and you can't miss it. Big white sign out front also says Hugs for Horses out front.
And it's like if you're on your way to Browns Ferry Elementary.
Yes, absolutely. There's also a sign for eggs available.
I saw that egg sign.
We have a huge flock of chickens. Some of them we've tamed down, and we can actually use them for therapeutic things as well. Very friendly. But the chickens are an integral part of our program as well. The egg sales from our chickens actually goes to pay vet bills for the Hugs horses.
Oh, wow.
So they're the Hugs flock. We have the herd and the flock.
There you go.
Yeah.
How does this program receive funding?
So it's grant funded. Donations and grant funding. We're part of the Palmetto Giving Day that the Goodale Foundation started a few years ago. That's one of our biggest sources of funding, and all of us are out there fundraising for that. We'll have Elsa. She'll be out. Elsa, our little spokes horse, will be out.
That's the little pony.
She's a little mini.
We need to go interview her.
She's actually a therapeutic mini, so we'll talk to her in a bit. But all of us fundraise. We get Goodale grants often. We've been grateful to be a recipient of Goodale grants over the years. School district gives a little bit for the students that get to come. So it's just all of us are looking for every source of revenue we can get.
Okay, so when the students get here, or the participants get here, are they just mostly they put the helmet on and then they put on the horse and then they go around the ring a couple times? Is it?
So it really depends. Depending on the conditions, their challenges, their abilities. You'll see some toys out here in the ring. These are all used. We talk about color with this class as an example, or counting, and you'll see them do some different things around the ring with the the things that are in the ring. We
Okay.
play games often.
Okay.
You see lots of stuffed animals around, so those are used with this age child to hand them off, to throw them to them, to improve coordination.
I love
and balance.
that. So not only they're riding, they're talking to them or counting or throwing.
This is therapy that they don't know they're getting.
Okay. So they think they're playing a game.
Yeah, they think they're having fun, and we are, on their plan, on their therapy plan.
Is there any particular reason why that little young lady is riding backwards?
Some of the students really love to do that. It's balance. It's all about balance.
Okay.
That horse is moving, and you can see her moving. Another interesting thing with autistic students, so you see the movement of the horse is moving the child.
Okay.
So lots of, especially really severely autistic kids will rock themselves.
Yep.
So we've seen teachers actually burst into tears when the autistic child gets on the horse. Mm-hmm. They no longer have to do the rocking. The movement of that horse provides that motion that soothes the student. And we've had teachers just burst into tears and say, we have never seen her sit still, and she sat still for 30 minutes.
How about that?
It's amazing.
I love that.
We see milestones every day. We see nonverbal students talk. We've got blind students. Horses are magical.
Well, how do you choose the horses that are used for the program?
So that is probably the most difficult part of our whole program. Mm-hmm. Every horse is definitely not cut out to be a therapeutic horse.
Okay.
With the toys and the noises sometimes, squeezing, they're definitely very special. The Hugs herd right now, I think we have 12 horses in the herd. There's over 50 in this facility, none of the rest of which can be a Hugs horse.
How many horses are in the herd?
There's about 12 right now.
So do individuals donate their horses for this program?
We have gotten horses. Some of us have retired show horses now that qualify for the program, but it's quite a long process to get them out here. We put our average students that have horses and lesson students will ride them for a while, and we'll do these same activities to see how they react. Not all horses can handle this kind of.
Are the horses normally older horses?
They have to be over 5 to be in the program, so they're mature.
Okay.
But probably teens and up. We have some that are older, some that are just kind of in their prime. We have a draft horse because we have the larger adults and the weight issues. We also have a lift behind you, so we have students that are in wheelchairs. So that takes a very special horse to be able to be trained to have that wheelchair come up. The lift picks the child up, swings over, and puts the student on the horse.
Get a better look at this lift.
So
here.
It takes a very special horse.
What are these little horses right here that are?
So these are very interesting. These are called equicizers. And Rana, our founder and our director, actually read about them some time ago. They were developed by a jockey to rehab injured jockeys. So it actually has the motion of a horse that simulates it, that you make that motion with your body strength.
Okay.
So we use them a lot with students who have balance issues, who are maybe too fragile to put on a horse because they're lower to the ground, and we can kind of safeguard the student. So those have been really a great addition to the program as well.
Okay, so a student that rides a horse, do they also ride these? Are these for children who
not necessarily?
Okay.
And most students want to get on that horse.
Okay. So, have you ever had any children that were frightened, too frightened?
We occasionally will. If the parent or the teacher can just step back and let us introduce the horse. If we have a student that's frightened, maybe the first time. Yeah. The second time they're on the horse. We have very few that don't end up getting on.
So what's the youngest age that a child will get on the horse?
We've had some students that are even as young as 3. I know of a 3-year-old that I've worked with extensively that is a teenager now. Parents were told she'd never walk, she'd never run, she'd never do all those things. They started her at 3. She rode a bike, she ran, she plays softball now. So she came for a couple of years, and they're like, oh, she can do all this. Stopped the program. 6 months later, she couldn't ride a bike. So Down syndrome is that whole muscle situation that happens. riding the horse stretches out those limbs and strengthens those limbs.
So
naturally.
did she come back to the program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, and has been here years.
Uh-huh. So, okay, let me get back. So the children come one day a week. Is that correct?
It depends. The regular classes are one day a week. We do have some privates that'll come for different conditions, but typically it's a once a week. It's pretty intense, especially with kids who are not very flexible or who have muscle issues. I mean, it's a pretty intense workout to spend a half hour to an hour on a horse.
Yeah.
And you can see how excited they are when they get on.
Yeah. Listen, if I was on that horse, I'd have some those adults with me. Oh my God, I haven't been on a horse in years.
Well, this is definitely my therapy, though. I do right now. I get to work with 2 classes a week, and a private young man that's blind, and then a class like this with older students, and that just starts my week out. And you can have the worst day, and then you come do this, and everybody's so happy.
Yeah.
And, we're doing
outside.
good things.
You're not looking at a cell phone or tablets.
Right.
You're in the fresh air and just with other animals. And who doesn't like to pet an animal?
And look at the smiles on these children's faces.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just the ultimate experience as a volunteer. It's also nice with the parents. And I notice at night, we're out here interacting with your child, and it gives them a little bit of peace, a little bit of time to themselves, because you take this child home and it's a 24/7 responsibility.
Oh, yes.
When you have a special needs child, more so than an average ability child that can go to baseball practice or go do other things. These children can't. They have to have somebody with them all the time. And so we notice parents are leaning on each other when they're watching their kids, or they just have a moment to just sit or talk on the phone or do things that they can't do.
Okay, let me go back and ask you this question because I already forgot the answer to this question. If a child is not enrolled in a special needs class, or if they're not part of that reading program, what's another way, or say they have mental health issues?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the way, did you say that the parent or grandparent can get them involved?
Yes, just call us, go on the website, the phone number.
The Hugs for Horses.
The Hugs for Horses.
Okay, do you know what
Facebook?
Is it www.hugsforhorses? Is it a .org or .com?
.com.
I'll find it.
So yes, but our Facebook page too. We put lots of updates on our Facebook page and fun pictures. We've got our horse show coming up in April, so we actually do. That's the highlight of the year.
Can anybody watch the horse show?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what happens at the horse show?
So it's the highlight of the year for these students. Special needs students don't have a lot of highlights. They don't have a lot of special events happening. They don't have 3 ball games a week.
Right.
So we started it years ago, and also donation funded. We actually do a real horse show. We get a real horse show judge. We set up trail courses. We serve a lunch, and parents, grandparents, all the family can invite their folks to come and watch their child in their event. Our students are so excited about it. They practice. We talk about it. It's coming up at the end of April. So we have a Sunday is our disability and special needs students and privates, and then the school district brings the rest on Monday, and we do the school district.
Does it take place in this building or out in the ring, or where?
It does some of both. With the weather nice, we'll go for trail outside and do some of the classes in here. But it's just a fun day. And Parks and Rec, that's where we come in with the horse show, and we do games and other things for the students that aren't showing at that time.
Is there a charge for people to come watch the show?
No, nothing is ever charged here.
Wow.
It's all free.
Okay, and then what's the oldest adult you serve in this program?
We have no upper age limit. Riding is a lifelong sport. So, I mean, you can ride forever, and hopefully I still can when I'm older. But we've got students that from disability and special needs that are in their 60s.
Oh, wow. Have you ever had any of the kids that participate in Joy School come down here?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of the students from Joy School will be here as the part of the program.
I love Martha Insignaris.
Yes, we love
She
Joy
does
School.
so many great things for that community.
Absolutely.
I don't know where we'd be without her, to tell you the truth. So anyway, so have you heard of this program in other counties or other places?
So yes, therapeutic riding is a big deal now. It is a mainstream therapy. Recognized by the veterans organizations for veterans, for PTSD, for mental health, for abuse, for physical disabilities, for intellectual disabilities. So yes, it's a huge deal now. Ronna started 40 years ago. It wasn't. Nobody knew anything about it, and she did it herself. But over the years, it has certainly evolved. So yes, there are programs in many, many communities. And I was just in Texas a couple of weeks ago for a paint horse event and talking to other program operators, talking about how to find horses. I mean, that's part of the issue, trying to find appropriate horses. That they're all over.
Okay, and so the horses that are used, do they belong to individuals that just volunteer their horses to be used? Is that how it works?
Some of both. Ronna owns the majority of them.
Okay.
But some of us have a retired show horse, or that's just has that perfect personality. So it's wonderful, kind of a second career. I was showing a horse on the national circuit that was in the top 5 in the nation, who would come back from huge shows and go to work in this program.
Wow.
So you just never know. It's just a very special horse.
Is this Ronna right here?
Yes, that's Ronna Jacobs.
Do you think she'd come talk to us for a second?
She really hates to talk on camera. That's why they make me do it.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Well, we can interview.
I'm gonna pause for just a second, see if we can get her to come. What were you saying?
So Ronna, this is what Ronna loves most. Ronna does not want to be the face of anything. She wants to be in the background doing the work. She lives on the property. This is her life, 24/7. She is a horse whisperer. Oh. She knows these horses inside and out. She can tell you if one of these horses is walking down the aisle and how it's walking, if it's perfectly sound, if something hurts, if something needs to be cleaned.
Wow.
She is amazing, but I don't think she sleeps. This is her dream. She does barn checks 2 and 3 times throughout the night. I mean, this is her passion.
Pronounce her first name for me again.
Ronna.
Yes. I want to say Ronna, but
Ronna Jacobs. Okay. And she's our everything.
Is she from Georgetown?
She has an interesting story. Yes, her family is from Georgetown, but her dad was military, so she's lived all over the place. So she's ridden horses all over the place, and even outside the country. She even did some high school years in the jungles of Suriname.
Wow.
And then came back and went to Coastal and got her biology degree. So she's actually as knowledgeable or more so than most of the vets. They all
does she own the equestrian center?
Yes.
Was it in her family?
So this property belonged to her husband's family.
Okay.
Her husband was a Jacobs from Georgetown.
Okay.
And this property is part of where he grew up. So when they married, they came here and then just started adding. He just kept building things for her to grow the program and grow the program.
What a nice husband.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to see if we can just get over here a little bit, listen to what she's saying over here. Sneak up on her. So.
She doesn't mind you doing it as long as she's learning it.
Ronna, can we talk to you for a second? Just,
I'll get close for my mic.
Okay, good. Hey, Ronna, I'm Kat Loftus, and we're doing a little podcast episode called A Slice of the Pie, where we interview people around Georgetown County. And so I just wanted to hear about you, and Beth was telling me a little bit about the history of how you got here and that you and your husband started building the property up. And how did you decide to start Hugs for Horses?
I have a brother with cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And when he started kindergarten, he wanted to do competitive things. So playing t-ball, he couldn't play t-ball successfully. So I was showing horses, and I got him. He had always ridden, so I got him a little home and trained it. We went to the horse shows, and then he'd go back to class with his ribbons.
Oh.
And so that kind of made me think, and I saw how much benefit he got from riding. So.
Did he have to
ride? My mother was working for Easter Seals at the time.
Yes, I remember Easter Seals, right? Yeah.
That's what we got together and started. We had just one class for students in 1988.
1988, wow. But did you call it Hugs for Horses then, or just set like a therapeutic class?
We did that pretty quick, probably in 89 or so. And then we added one class. International Paper agreed to pay our insurance for us for the first year to get us started, and that's kind of how we just going.
And then how did it grow into the program that it's become today? Did you develop a relationship with the school district, or how did it grow?
The school district came later. We just kept adding private students, and that's kind of how we grew. And then we did school district. But Georgetown County Board of Disabilities and Special Needs has been great. They've helped us because they do our paperworks and all that kind of.
Well, thank you so much for allowing this program to be here. I know it's helped so many people. I know it makes you feel good to have everybody out here. Yeah, well, good. Okay, thank you. All right. So, Beth, if somebody wants to get involved and be a volunteer for this program, what could they do?
Same thing. Stop by anytime. Rana's always here, lives here. But go on our Facebook page or website, give the phone number, call, or drop in. Lessons are going on all the time. Even if the HUGS program is not happening, there is a training program here. There's many of us that are here riding.
Does the Equestrian Center have a website? Or
yes, the Equestrian Center also has a website.
If children just want to start taking riding lessons?
Absolutely, yes. And we have lots of folks come and do birthday parties here, or pet the animals, or school trips, or every kind of trip you can imagine, every kind of group you can imagine. People who want to have pictures done and want to have a chick in the picture, or a chicken, or a goat, or a dog, or horses. We've got beautiful places to do that.
Who do they get in touch with if they want to do something?
Rana. Okay. Rana Jacobs.
Okay. And that phone number's on the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do school groups take field trips out here?
We've had all kinds of groups come. And when a group comes and does a party or something like that, we've got many horses, we've got goats, we've got all the dogs, we've got all the chickens. So it truly is a barnyard visit kind of thing. And a lot of kids, surprisingly, are never outside in this kind of an environment, and we're right in town almost.
Right.
So it makes it pretty easy to get out here and have a little farm visit.
This is so cool. Thank you so much for letting me come out here and get a little glimpse of Hugs for Horses, because I didn't know about it, and I've never been to the Equestrian Center before. So, when people come to Georgetown County, a lot of times they do think about the water, boats, and the beach and fishing and stuff, but we don't necessarily think of the horses. So cool that there's this facility that is fun and benefits other people too.
Absolutely.
Now, I do want to, let's go back in your history for a little bit. You said my husband, Pat.
I do. So right out of college, many years ago, I came here. My sister and I both moved here. And
Where'd you move from?
From Bristol, Tennessee.
Okay.
So I went to work for Plantation Federal. So I knew Pat and Ed and the whole crew. Oh,
yeah, that goes way back.
Way back.
I think that bank started in like 1986, something like that.
I think so, and I was there in I came there in 93.
Okay, what did you do at the bank?
So I started out just training through all the departments, but I was working in the mortgage servicing.
Okay, cool. Area. Do you miss that at all?
I do love doing that kind of thing. Some years ago, though, I ended up working for Litchfield Company and with the Reserve and when we were developing those programs. So I loved the construction and that kind of thing. So, but I was also a volunteer firefighter.
Wow, you've done a lot.
Well, in 1993, when you moved to Pawleys Island and you're 23, there's not a whole lot of young people.
That's right.
So there was hard to get to know people, and in the winter, everything was closed except a few businesses. So I volunteered and did that for 9 years. And as I was doing my volunteer service with Rescue Squad and the fire department, I realized that was really my passion, is making a difference in other people's lives, improving the quality of their life. And so our fire chief at the time, there was an opening with the county administrator.
Was that Mike Mock?
Mike Mock, who I dearly love, and Tommy Edwards needed an assistant. And so I went to work for Georgetown County in 2002, and it lets me make a real difference. It lets me work with all the citizens of the county, and that's my passion, is making that difference.
I'm really excited as a mom who had kids that played sports to see the growth of the ball fields in the area,
Yes.
like that one that was just finished by Waccamaw Elementary, which is beautiful. And
that was so Tommy Edwards actually started our citizen-driven visioning plan in 2004, and that was one of my huge responsibilities, was working with all those groups. It was 5 areas of emphasis back then, and they were quality of life improvement.
So what were the 5 areas?
So there was economic development, facilities, there's a community piece, and then recreation was the very biggest.
Mm-hmm.
Georgetown County hadn't spent any money on recreation facilities in years and years. Mm-hmm. Our facilities were old school district buildings that had exceeded usable lifespan.
Yep.
But that's the best we had. We had no indoor gyms on the Waccamaw Neck. We had no air-conditioned gym. We had barely heated gyms, and our ball fields were ancient.
Yeah.
So Tommy Edwards, that was actually his vision. So the program came together. There were a lot of folks that volunteered. Hundreds and hundreds of folks volunteered. Some of the names you recognize, Squeaky Swenson,
I love Squeaky.
And General Plowden, and some of those folks actually agreed. Tommy twisted arms to head these programs up. And so meetings with citizens took place for a number of years to kind of figure out what people wanted to see over the next 20 to 30 years in Georgetown County. Mm-hmm. So in 2008, we had, especially with recreation, we had the plan, we had the needs identified and where people wanted to see us go. And so that was the only time we hired consultants, but we hired a consultant to actually put together the land needs and capacity things and do projections. So yesterday we cut the ribbon at Waverly Park. That was the last project.
That's the one in Pawleys Island.
That is in Pawleys Island. So since that program began to yesterday, over $80 million has been spent on just recreation facilities in Georgetown.
So happy to have it. So what are the other areas of the county where you've added parks?
Everywhere. We have recreation facilities from Pleasant Hill all the way down to almost Jamestown, touching every county line. And then Waverly, of course, is our Waccamaw Neck.
So I know up in Pawleys Island you've added some ball fields, and you've also added the indoor recreation facility.
Right. We built 4 regional recreation facilities.
So what are the other areas where you built those?
So we divide the county into 4 regions: the Waccamaw Neck, the Andrews region, Georgetown, and Northwest. Mm-hmm. So we have a beautiful 25,000 square foot recreation center at Waccamaw. Yep. We also have an almost identical copy in Andrews and in Chapee. Okay. And then in the city of Georgetown, we actually renovated the Beck Recreation Center, I know. Mm-hmm. Old school building, and the old Howard High School.
Okay. Now, this is an interesting question. Has the county ever considered building a public swimming pool or any kind of swimming pool?
That has been over the years. It was originally identified as something that people wanted. And it's kind of gone up and down. I think it's even been a referendum on doing it. And then there's been conversation with the school district about maybe doing something together. Mm-hmm. It is an extremely expensive proposition in maintenance, especially. Mm-hmm. And it would be a real struggle for us. So, and kind of the trend in public recreation is going more towards the splash pads. Yeah. So we're hoping to actually do some splash pads. We are planning to do a splash pad coming up, just because it's not as labor intensive. You don't have to have the lifeguards, all of those kind of things. But that has been debated and talked about for a number of years.
Yeah, and I guess you probably agree with me that one of the most positive reasons to do that is to prevent drownings.
Yes.
So the children can learn to swim and lose their fear of the water.
Absolutely. So on to that end, some years ago, goodness, I can't even remember how many years we've had the program, but I can. We started a partnership with the Y and the school district.
That's right.
The Y swim program. So Georgetown County funds a big portion of that cost. Yeah. So that every second grade student can take swimming lessons at the Y. The last year, The senior class that graduated was the first class that started.
Yeah, on my way out here today, I saw a yellow school bus turning into the Y, and I thought to myself, oh, there's the Y Splash program.
Absolutely.
I remember going with my students, and they loved it. They loved going out there. It was just the highlight of their week.
And it's truly about losing that fear.
Absolutely.
And being able to not panic if you're in the water.
Yeah, and the instructors do a great job of being very gentle and understanding, which is so great. Well, gosh, thank you for all you've done for our county, and from being at the bank to jumping on into recreation and being here at Hugs for Horses. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or any messages you'd like to send to our listeners?
I think if anybody has any interest, this is my therapy. Mm-hmm. I get more out of volunteering here than my students do. Mm-hmm. I'm sure every week it's the highlight of my week. You can see the smiles on their faces. So if anybody has an interest in being outside, you get your steps in too.
There you go. There you go.
So, I mean, we can always use volunteers, because you can see how many it takes just for a few kids or a few adults. So
yeah, they look like they're having a good time. The volunteers.
Oh yes, yeah. You can't help but have a good time.
That's right.
So check us out and come join us.
Hey, thank you so much for being with us today, Beth.
Thank
See you
you.
soon. Bye. Hugs for Horses was originally started by Ronna Jacobs, who owns the Equestrian Center. I believe she had a brother with a disability, and she put him on a horse, and it really helped him a lot. So that gave her the inspiration to start this program. And it's been so helpful and so therapeutic to children and adults that are overcoming a disability. Ronna is very humble, and she didn't really like to be on camera, so we really appreciate her talking to us for a little bit. But it's just an amazing place with so many amazing things to see and do out there. And they do birthday parties out at the Equestrian Center. So if you've never been out there, you should go take a look. It's very cool. Thank you for joining us. If you would like us, like this episode, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to do that. Share it with your friends and neighbors. We hope you're going to come visit us soon in Pawleys Island. Weather's warming up. It's getting to be beach season. We hope you have a great weekend and a great week. I've been watching all the March Madness basketball, and it's really getting exciting. And I hope your team wins. So y'all have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.